All right, everybody, how's it going? I got a tri-tip that I'm gonna cook on the Traeger tonight, but I'm gonna make the rub. Something pretty simple, pretty easy, but it tastes unbelievable. It's not super complicated. I'm gonna take a little bit of au jus powder and throw that in here. And it's gonna add some really fun beef flavor to it. I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of pepper. Put that in there, which is plenty of pepper. And then I'm going to take 4 tablespoons of garlic salt, which the call is like regular salt, but the garlic salt, I like garlic. And so it gives it a really good flavor. It makes it delicious. I'm gonna stir it around, mix it all up. Super complicated. There's other things you could throw in there if you want to put onion powder or just some of the other stuff, paprika, that type of stuff, but I just like to keep it fairly basic. Okay. I'm gonna take this out and this out. This is gonna be delicious. We'll be able to eat off this for a couple days. Throw that in the garbage. All right. That is real simple. If you put a little too much on, it gets real peppery. So I try to get it on, but not like super on. Hence, rubbing it. And then I'll probably let it sit out on the counter for probably an hour or so before I put it on the grill, or I will put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for hours and just let the flavor kind of get into it a little bit. But pretty simple, pretty basic, not too much on, not too little on. That seems to flavor it pretty darn good. It has inspired my dog to go over and eat his food right now. So if you hear that in the background, that is what is going on. I think this one's so much thicker and it's thin down here. I might take, matter of fact, I'm going to take that piece off. So I can make burnt ends. Or the equivalent of burnt ends, because I like cutting them off into little pieces too. There we go. because it'll be nice little tasty morsels that'll be done before I have to sear it at the end. So we can eat these while we're waiting for those. I'll throw a little bit more of this on, but not too much more. Get that all kind of mixed up and ready to go. And that's ready for the grill. And that is step one. All right, took it out of the oven for sitting. There we go. Oh, that's delicious. You can really smell it. Holy cow. It smells awesome. So, what do you think? Put the sensor in this one? Because it's thicker, or this one?
Yeah, put it in the thicker one.
Okay. We'll go there with the sensor. Ooh. A little too far. Okay, there we go. So now, just grill's heating up now, so as soon as it gets hot, we'll put it on the grill. Okay, the Traeger now says it's 230 degrees, which our cooking temperature is going to be 225. It's on super smoke, so we're going to get a lot of really good flavor out of it. We're going to put this in, which should be for about an hour at 225 degrees till the internal temperature is 120 degrees or 125. Once we get to that, we'll crank it up to 450, and then we'll cook it 3 minutes on each side, and then this will be done. And then we're gonna move to meal prep. I got a bunch of chicken breasts in here. I'm gonna pull those out. I'll cut them in half and throw those on there and cook those as well. So I'll have food for the next day and a half on top of this to mix in. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Well, it's the same with the food. So we're planning out our food and we're getting that ready to go. And so here we go. Now we're gonna put it on the reel. So that's plugged in, and that'll go to my phone, which that's pretty darn cool. And these will be amazing little tidbits when I go to pull this off. These will actually be ready to eat and will be absolutely delicious. So that's that. I just gotta let it do its thing. Okay, back to some meal prep. I got the chicken mostly defrosted. Sometimes you might want to leave it just a little bit stiff so it's easier to cut. But now I'm going to cut these chicken breasts, for the most part, in half, like this. So as I'm grilling them, I get a good sized portion, but one that's not too crazy. And then get these ready for after the tri-tip comes off. And these will cook a little quicker this way too. So you're not sitting there forever waiting for these to finish up. Okay. And then I'll dump out this juice out of there. And then a little bit of garlic salt on everything. Makes the world taste good. When you live in the desert, you're gonna eat a larger than normal amount of salt. But my sodium, when I take my blood work, is well within a good range. It's just, you sweat that much out here because it's so dry, you just need it. So unless you have a problem with like super high blood pressure, you end up salting your food a decent amount, no matter what. That way you don't get dehydrated so easily when you're out there, when you're sweating. So it's a good idea if you're competing in hotter climates, a few days before you start heading out to that hotter climate, start sodium loading. I mean, technically if you're on the vertical diet, you're gonna sodium load anyway. But because it helps keep you from tearing muscles and stuff like that. So it's kind of a big deal. But living in the desert, you want to do that. So if you're going to go compete in the heat, start sodium loading even more than you already do before you go compete. And that's a tip of the day for you. So that's prepared and ready to go for the grill. Once the tri-tip comes off, we'll see you in a minute. Just delicious goodness. Pull that out of there, just put that in there. These are already done. There you go. I'm gonna try one.
Perfect.
That's good. All right, so the Traeger's at a little over 450 degrees. So now I'm gonna set the timer for 3 minutes. Oh, listen to that beautiful sound. Put that in. Hit start. And waiting for this to start. There it goes. So, and then it's counting down. So at 3 minutes, we'll pull that out, flip it over, do it another 3 minutes, and we're done. We're good. So I'm gonna pull these off, and they're gonna sit. And while that's going, I'm gonna start the meal prep with the chicken. This is going to give it a lot of flavor. Make it very tasty chicken. Good. And there we go. About like there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. Pink and juicy. With a nice little smoke ring around the outside. So. Man, right, you just can't go wrong with the Traeger. You just can't. You will save so much money buying a Traeger, and you'll almost never go eat meat out again because you can make it just as good, if not better, at home yourself. If you spend the $1,500 on something like that, you'll make that back in 6 to 8 months of eating out. No questions asked. So anyway, next phase is go get the chicken in a minute. All right, they're done. So something like this on a regular person's work week, do this on a Sunday, spend a couple hours meal prepping, and you'll be set for the week. And then you can just chop it up or just take the breasts and throw one or two into each meal. And the same with the meat. You can cut the meat up and put that into meals, and you're prepped and ready to go to where it doesn't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes to put a meal together and then eat. You know, and there's no reason why you can't get your nutrition in. None. So anyway, we're gonna go enjoy this. If you like this, share and subscribe. And as always, train hard, train smart, and be the best you can be.